everyone. My name is Alison Woodall and I'm a relocation specialist. That means I get to help you with the financial, logistical, and emotional issues that make moving to a new state so stressful. And today I'm talking to Mike Ferrante, and he's a realtor in Cleveland, Ohio. Mike, welcome.
Thank you, Alison. So nice to be here.
Well, I am very interested to talk to you about Ohio. It's a very long time since I was in Ohio, and it is a wonderful state, but it's a state that not many people think about as their first choice when they're leaving California. So first of all, I would love you to tell me where you live and what you love about your part of Ohio.
Sure. How much time do we have? So absolutely. Ohio is kind of this hidden gem that I think a lot of people overlook. And as a lifelong Clevelander, I've lived in the Cleveland area virtually my entire life, other than 3 years in Tiffin, Ohio, where I went to school for college. But the reason I've never left is that there's just so much here. And what I always tell people to kind of encapsulate why Northeast Ohio, the Cleveland area, is so cool is that it has virtually all of the big city amenities without so many of the big city problems. So I have friends in California, in Los Angeles, for example, and they talk about traffic. And I say, oh yeah, we have traffic too. Sometimes I'll get stuck in a traffic jam for a half an hour. And they say, half an hour, that's like a stoplight here. So, there's so many good things about Cleveland that people may not know without a lot of those big issues.
Okay. And so for someone who doesn't know, like if you ask me to pick out Ohio on a map, I can get in the general area. But so Cleveland, are you on a lake? Are you near the mountains? Just for someone who has no idea about Ohio and the Cleveland area in particular.
Sure. So most people know where Chicago is. So find Chicago and go east and a little bit south. And to answer your question, yes, Lake Erie is one of the biggest attractions that we have. Most people can find the Great Lakes on a map. And if you find Lake Erie is one of the best fishing and sporting lakes in the Great Lakes. In fact, if you're a sportsman, boater, fisher person, the walleye fishing is what we're known for here in Lake Erie. So we are right on the lake. We have rivers, parks, all that stuff that the outdoors people love. Okay. Now, you also mentioned mountains. Yeah. So the other thing is, our area is not mountainous, but we're so centrally located that you literally can drive an hour, hour and a half south, and you're in the foothills, an area called Hocking Hills. You can drive 2 hours to the northeast and you're at Niagara Falls, or you can head up into the mountains. There's ski resorts, we're so close to everything, and everything is driving distance.
Okay, wonderful. And the roads are really good as well. From California roads are not good, but Midwestern roads are.
Yeah. So obviously one of the things people ask me about is the weather. And there is a toll that winter takes both on our bodies, our homes, our roads. But I'll tell you, we're prepared for it. So I know in some cities, when they get an inch or two of snow, the whole city shuts down. Well, to Clevelanders, we can drive in that with our eyes closed. We don't. But we get a couple inches of snow and the plows are out, they're treating the roads, they're salting the roads. So yes, there's often maintenance going on with the roads, but you hardly notice it, because we're so good at doing it for years.
And I always think, there is nowhere in the world that's perfect. And so, if you don't like snow and it's, the winter's not, there's a couple of months that you don't enjoy in winter, you're going to have a milder summer because it's not going to be so hot. And so the perfect summers or beautiful spring and fall make up for a couple of months in winter. So you just, you choose whether you want super hot summers and mild winters, or whether you choose colder winters and, not crazy heat in summers. It's whatever you.
You're right. You're spot on. I could tell you do this a lot. Every area has its pluses and minuses. The cool thing about Cleveland, and what I like, is that we do have a major airport. So we have direct flights to England. I actually flew from Cleveland to, I don't think it was Manchester, but I remember flying direct, which was pretty cool. So in the wintertime, we have some folks that we call snowbirds. And those are people who go south for the winter, just like the birds migrate. And, some people go for a week for vacation, or some people go for a couple months to avoid the winter. But frankly, having all four seasons is something that I think I would miss if I were ever to relocate or completely become a snowbird. Seeing all four seasons, especially autumn, which is our best season here visually. There are people that come here just to see the leaves and how beautiful the scenery is.
Wow. Well, wonderful. Well, let's get a little bit more specific about your market. So obviously you cover the Cleveland area. How far out of Cleveland is kind of your area?
Right. So I actually run a team of real estate agents. We have over 30 agents. So we cover a pretty big geographic area. And when we talk about our market, Cleveland tends to be the city that a lot of people know, but we cover all of Northeast Ohio, or greater Cleveland, as we say. Cleveland's a very sprawling suburban type city, although there is downtown living. So we have downtown warehouse district area with buildings that have been converted to lofts. So we really serve all of Northeast Ohio, which is from Lake Erie, south of Akron, east to Ashtabula, and west to Sandusky, which is the home of Cedar Point, which is, I think, the best amusement park, if you like roller coasters, in the United States.
Okay, well, I hate roller coasters, but I love amusement parks. I love the whole atmosphere there. I'm the mom who's always holding my husband and my kids' stuff, and then I take the pictures, and I get to experience it without actually having to like throw up or.
I'm with you. I don't get it. I don't understand the thrill of feeling like you're about to die, but that is the place for roller coasters. I haven't been in years, but as a kid, we were there all the time.
Well, perfect. We always look for places with roller coasters, that kind of thing, because my husband and my kids love them. But like I said, not my thing, but I know it is for a lot of people. And so what is your market like right now? I'm presuming it's pretty crazy like everywhere else in the country.
Yeah. It's hard to find a market that isn't crazy. So yes, we have an inventory shortage, just like the rest of the country. I think that our market is probably not as crazed as some other markets, like people in major cities might be used to. So I know one of the things I knew you were going to ask me was about multiple offers and, what's typical. Right now we're actually having some properties that aren't going into multiple offers. And when we do have multiple offers, it's 2 offers, 5 offers, maybe 10. And occasionally, if we have a really hot property, we might have as many as 20 offers. But I'm hearing stories from my peers in other parts of the country where they literally had 100 offers on a property. It's not like that here. So yes, it's a hot market. We're about half our normal inventory for this time of year, but it's not impossible to find a home.
Okay. And then in terms of prices, what's kind of like an average price or like a lower price? Because obviously, every area has those beautiful mansions, but for someone who may be moving out of California or a different state and is looking for something more, on the lower, more affordable price point, what is that kind of price point for you?
That is one of the things I love about Cleveland. And I have people from out of state, overseas, who are amazed at how affordable it is. Our average price point is right around $200,000 here. And that is for a nice house. Like, we're not just talking about a little shack. Now, the other thing is we have a lot of investors who come to Cleveland. So they're buying homes, singles and doubles, for anywhere from $50,000 to $150,000 and making some good rental income. So, if you're retiring and wanted to get into the real estate field, this would be a great place to do it. We talked earlier, $250,000 buys you a beautiful home in a suburban neighborhood that probably has pretty decent schools and maybe even some land, which I know is something that a lot of people in California are not used to. We actually have nice sized yards. I have a half acre here in Twinsburg, Ohio, a suburb of Cleveland. And, my house isn't all that expensive.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting. So when we lived in California, we had a concrete backyard and we probably had about a 3-foot square of grass in the front yard. To me, that was my dream, because when you have a big yard, then you've got all the maintenance that goes with it. Now we're back in Atlanta. I think our yard is probably about half an acre, maybe just a little bit more. And so, it's beautiful and it's wonderful to have the acreage, but, sometimes it's just a lot of work.
For those of you who are used to paying California prices, as an example, my landscaper, I don't want to cut grass either. My landscaper, $40 a week to cut my yard, trim, edge, everything. So you can have your cake and eat it too, or in this case, have your lawn and not cut it.
I love that. And one of my friends, she's just moved to South Carolina from California, and she's so excited because there's trees all over her property. And all I can think is, trees, drop leaves, and in Georgia they drop pine straw as well. And so yes, so to know that you can have someone, and it is affordable to have lawn care, and someone who'll come and blow your leaves, that is great to know. So what about property taxes? How do they rate?
So I would say that our property taxes are relatively high, but that's offset by the low prices. So of course, taxes are a percentage of value, and a good average is about 2% per year. So just to put it in terms of dollars, my house is valued somewhere in the 300,000s, and our taxes are about $5,000 per year. And it does vary from city to city. There are some cities that have really good industrial bases. So a city like Solon, for example, which has the highest rated schools in the state several years running, they have a huge industrial area. So the taxes are actually pretty affordable in Solon.
Okay, wonderful. And so that was a good kind of segue into schools. So obviously you have well-rated schools. What about colleges? Do you have any big colleges in the Cleveland area?
We do. The selection of colleges and even the high schools, there's so many good schools in our area. But when you talk about colleges, we have a plethora of small private schools. So, for example, I went to Heidelberg College, which is now a university that's only about an hour and a half away. The bigger schools are Cleveland State University. You've got Case Western Reserve University, which you were probably near when you were down on University Circle near the hospitals. They have a great engineering program, medical program, Hiram College, Baldwin Wallace University. If you go just a little further south, you have the Ohio State University. You have to put the in front of it. I know there's some people who are college football fans who probably don't want to hear about the Buckeyes, but we have so many colleges and so many great high schools in the area. The schools are definitely one of the benefits of being here.
Okay. And then, so you mentioned like industrial areas. What is the economy like? If someone was moving to Ohio, do you have a diverse economy with employment opportunities, or is it more kind of specific industries?
Yeah, Alison, that's a great question, because I think people who've lived in the States for a while probably could have a negative opinion of Cleveland because, the Midwest for many years was called the Rust Belt. And why was that? Because the steel industry was dying, the auto industry was dying. So instead of this thriving economy, it took a while to recover from that. And what's really interesting about Cleveland is it is now diverse. We have two of the best hospitals in the world that are located here in Cleveland. You've got the Cleveland Clinic, which I think everyone has probably heard of. We have the King of Jordan came here for heart treatment, came to Cleveland, to the Cleveland Clinic, just as an example. University Hospitals, also a very big employer. Eaton Corporation, Sherwin-Williams, the paint company, has a headquarters here. Avery Dennison, Lincoln Electric. I could go on and on. So not only is there still a decent base in manufacturing, but you've got banking. Huntington Bank is headquartered here. All these different industries are now creating a more diverse economy. So I think that Cleveland is positioned much better than when it was strictly a manufacturing, steel, automotive type economy.
Okay, excellent. And then, I mean, presuming as you're a big city, there's lots of amenities and the shops and everything that everybody would expect from a big city.
Exactly. One of the things I always like to mention when I have clients that come and visit and they don't know anything about the city, when we drive through downtown, we drive through the theater district. And this is going to shock you, I think. But as I drive through, I say, where the biggest theater district is, everyone knows it's New York City. But did you know that Cleveland, Ohio has the second largest theater district in the country?
Wow, I did not know that.
Right? Yeah.
And that's why I love doing interviews with people like you, because there are so many things that you just don't know about an area. I've traveled a lot, but I did not know that. I know that there was a really cool kind of restaurant area and bars and things, because I was in my mid-20s when I was in Cleveland, so that's what I was interested in. Now I'd be very interested in theater and that kind of part of a city. So that's good to know. I know we talked earlier about recreation. Obviously you're on the lake. You're very close to everything else. Anything else you want to cover that we haven't covered in terms of why Ohio and Cleveland in particular is such a great area?
Yeah, so I think a couple of things we didn't hit. parks and golf courses. There's so much green space. When people come here, they're just amazed at all the trees and how green everything is. If you're a golfer, within just minutes, you have your choice of golf courses, both public and private. And I've talked about how things, this is an hour away, this is 20 minutes away. Cleveland is a very easy city to travel. So, within an hour and a half, there's all these amenities, and people drive. It's not like other cities where you don't want to have a car. Here, you want to have a car. It's affordable to have a car. Yes, we have government. Yes, we are a red state, at least for now. We're one of those swing states, but it's very affordable to live here. The fees for things, it's not exorbitant, especially if you're outside the urban areas.
Okay, well, wonderful. Well, if someone wants to connect with you and buy a house or move to the Cleveland area, what's the best way for them to contact you?
Well, there's a few ways to do that. Email is always best for me, and the easiest email is mike@21mike.com. So that's MIKE at 21mike.com. You can always hit me up on the cell phone, 216-571-8499. Our website is 21mike.com. And like we talked about, Allison, we have a really cool Facebook group that has almost 7,000 members now. And if people want to check us out on Facebook, there's all kinds of different people posting rentals and properties for sale. And that is Cleveland, Ohio Real Estate Homes for Sale /rent. I know it's a long name, but we wanted to get all those keywords in there. But it's a great group. You guys could pop in and just see what's going on here in Cleveland.
Well, wonderful. Well, I'll post a link to all of those things. Wherever you're watching this video, there'll be a link so that you don't have to remember the Facebook. I'll link to it, so then you just click on it. But that's great. Well, I really appreciate you talking with me. It's brought back happy memories of my time in Cleveland, gosh, years and years ago. And it's a beautiful city, and Ohio is a beautiful state. So
thank you for doing this. I obviously enjoy talking about my hometown, and I think that people that don't know about it or have a negative opinion of it, that's the old days. Cleveland is different now. It's really come a long way.
Well, wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate all your guidance and help.
Thank you.